All right, joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, former ECU great wide receiver Aundrae Allison. Aundrae, how you doing, man?
Man, I am doing great, man. I was pumped up after that Thursday game, man. So yeah, I'm doing great.
I'm sure pumped up after some big plays to Anthony Smith. Got him going down the field, hooked up with two big ones there, and haven't had a lot of those explosion plays in the passing game, Aundrae. So that was good to see last Thursday.
No, it really was. I was happy to see it, and it's something to build momentum on too. So we could just carry that into these next two games, especially that big game coming up we was talking about last week. So it's a great way to build some momentum.
I guess a lot of wide receiver blocking the other night too. How about 200 plus rushing yards for the Pirates as they got the ground game going?
It all came together. I feel like we spoke it up, Clip. Like we was just talking about having one of those balanced games to where both sides is performing at a high level, and then offense, and you can see like the receiving core and the running backs getting their confidence, and yeah, it was some big plays. That's what we're used to seeing as Pirate fans. So I
Right.
was happy to see that reestablished, and it's going definitely in the right direction.
And look, I know we want everything to go perfect, Andre, but like I was watching that game kind of okay with the back and forth. Like I felt like I was watching a college football game in 2025. In fact, I thought that's what most ECU games would look like in 25. But the defense has played better than we anticipated. So outside of like the long drawn out referee meetings and things like that, I was very entertained by that football game.
No, the same, and like you said, that's what you expect that out of college football. Well, now even the pros, you
Yeah,
almost got to
true.
average 29 points in the
Yeah.
pros, to beat those top tier teams. So I think that that's all playing into the hands of how all the sports leagues are collectively like understanding the power of entertainment at this point. So it's way more entertaining to see a lot of points go up as opposed to 6 points, like watching Ray Lewis them, dominate the NFL and not allow a single 100-yard rusher. Like, it's cool to do it, but it's also a little boring, right? So, yeah, that's
Even
what I want to see every day.
even Georgia, who over the years has dominated defensively, they get in a shootout against Ole Miss the other day. Turns out to be an awesome game with both teams going back and forth. And again, that was very entertaining seeing points go on the board.
Yes, coach, you got. I mean, it fit with Georgia. The quarterback name is Gunner, right? So it's like we want to see him sling it right all over the place, and we already knew what Kiffin was going to bring. Their offensive style is always attack, attack, attack. A lot of fancy plays, a lot of creativity. But yeah, I love seeing Georgia play like that as well. They can pretty much win any way, So the shootout was something good to see for them.
Saw top 10 teams go down, including Texas Tech losing their first game. Miami losing on Friday, Andre, to Louisville. And I was talking about this earlier. When we get those top 10 upsets, I guess, it doesn't affect me as much as it did like in the 90s because everybody is kind of together now. Everybody kind of bunched together. So it doesn't have that major upset feeling, I guess, anymore. Even Louisville beating Miami, I wasn't completely shocked.
Nah, neither was I. I mean, and you got to think with the college football playoffs, it kind of like gives you a little bit of wiggle room. You can lose
Sure.
early like that, but it's really no true dominant number one. The transfer portal has pretty much allowed it to be a little bit more fair competition across the board. So yeah, when I saw them as the top team and they got knocked off, I'm like, it's almost like they're not really the best team to me. So we're still trying to figure out who that's gonna be. It's gonna be hard to beat Ohio State and Georgia and teams like that just because they're so loaded across the board. The skill position and all the other positions, they got two or three layers of debt when it comes down to players. So that's how I'm looking at it. It's good entertainment, like you said, but at the same time, it's no clear cut number one like the '90s.
Back to ECU, Andre. Look, we want them to beat a team that they're underdogs against. They haven't done that this year. Had three opportunities, lost all three. But the sign of a pretty good football team is beating the teams you're supposed to beat. And Memphis didn't do that the other day, so now they have a loss in the column because they go to UAB and lay an egg after UAB fires Trent Dilfer. So if ECU can continue to do what they're supposed to do, that's going to be at least 7, 8 wins this year, and then it's a matter of, hey, can you knock off Memphis, and then you got a shot to get into that championship game.
I agree, 1,000%. Yeah, they definitely look really vulnerable. It looked like that could like lead them more on a downswing, like to finish up the season. And hopefully, I think it looks like we're also peaking and everything is meshing and coming together at the right time. So I am really faithful. I feel like we're gonna make a strong push and a strong run. It just everything is just timing up the right way. Everybody's getting their mojo. We've had our fair share of silly losses in the earlier part of the season, but it was all, self-inflicted, wounds that we could easily clean up. And that's what it's looking like we're doing right now.
Well, Memphis, go one of two ways here, Andre. Do they let the same team beat them twice, stay down, or do they get back up? They got to get up quick because they got USF coming up, who is ranked this week. So that'll be a big game at noon on Saturday.
Yeah, no. Well, hopefully USF, they're always good. The talent, the speed, the fast twitch, the physicality and things of that nature. That's one of those games. Yeah, it's gonna be hard for Memphis to beat them to me. But anything that will favor us as far
Yeah,
as being able to have, some leverage in the latter part of the season once Memphis get on that schedule and we face them. So I'm always rooting against the opposition.
almost got a little help from Army on Saturday. They were up late 7 against Tulane and ended up losing that game by 7. So credit to the Green Wave for getting it done when they needed to, but they got a big scare, and I think there's more losses to be had in the American by these big teams.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, the transfer portal helps all of that. Teams up. It's pretty much like a fair game each time. It's never really true dominance unless you just have a huge budget and you can just go out and get those top tier players like some of those big conference teams. But it's still even in the big conferences, you got a lot of like equal play. But yeah, you're right. And hopefully, I just like using these type of platforms and like having these type of seasons to where we can lure some of those players that they want to go and get a big opportunity. And we've been getting a lot of television time too. So I'm happy to see that as well. That's going to help with, bringing in some recruits in the seasons to come.
And I'm happy, Andre, because we have a 2 o'clock kickoff for our next game. Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Finally, get away from these night games a little bit. So it'll be 2 o'clock against the Temple Owls. And for those of us who are pregame and postgame hosts, that means we'll get out at a decent hour. But let's see, 2 o'clock ESPN Plus. How you like that kickoff time?
I love that kickoff time for sure. Yeah, those night games, we have had a lot of night games. But yeah, it's perfect for tailgating, perfect for pre-gaming. And then by being the fall, it's kind of like just the perfect weather. You expect a little bit of cool temperature out there, really bright and sunny. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game.
We'll preview ECU and the Temple Owls with Aundrae Allison coming up next week. Andre, earlier, and you said in the show in the NFL, you need to score 29 points. How about 33 and 1/4 yesterday by the Denver
Wow.
Broncos?
Yeah, that was big. That was major. I'm almost not surprised. I think Bo Nix kind of has that Drew Brees type of feel. Like when I'm watching him play, I'm not surprised. They got a lot of big play guys on offense, and then that quarterback match with Sean Payton. I mean, that is a lot of points though. But like I said, Bo Nix he's the real deal, and with a play caller like that, you can put up points fast. And then you're going against a rookie quarterback. It's to me when I saw like the pick that dart through or whatever, it kind of like you can see those type of things like about to happen because you can feel the momentum shifts
Yeah.
in sports, especially in football. But the pressure just he plays with like an edge to him, but you can still see kind of like okay, it's still hard to keep that lead in the pros, and you're bound to make a mistake because there's only a few, um, you know, disguises that the defense will have to do to make him, do something out of control or something. And that's what he pretty much did. So that game just shifted so fast, and just playing up there before in the altitude, you can feel like okay, I'm tired in the fourth quarter. Like so, I could see that was another advantage as well. So yeah, that was a major comeback, and something big for sure.
And, sometimes it feels like there's a higher power at play. I remember as a kid when Brett Favre's dad passed away. In that next game, he had like was it 7 touchdowns or something? It was he went crazy on Monday Night Football against the Raiders, and then this past Sunday they're honoring Demaryius Thomas, and I sent my friend because I won a little bit of money on Denver and sent my Broncos buddy a thank you, and he just showed me a picture of Demaryius Thomas. Sometimes it feels like they get a little help from other places, Andre.
Yeah, and Demaryius Thomas was a part of that win against the Steelers whenever Tebow hit him on that slant.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, so
overtime.
it kind of, yeah, you're right. All of that lined up, and those are like the football guys. You playing it the right way. Everybody is, locked in, and nobody's cheating the game. I feel like things like that will go in your favor. So yeah, I could see that happening for sure.
Coaches going different directions. Mike Vrabel and the Patriots looking great right now in his first
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel on the way out. It looks like in
Mhm.
Miami. How about a guy we don't talk about a ton? I didn't see it working out. I almost think he's like too nice. But Dave Candalis, the Panthers coach, and he's so young. Andre, you probably never worked with him or know. I don't know if you know much about him, but how about that guy in Carolina? They're 4-3 now. Andre got their first road win yesterday against the Jets.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited because being here in Charlotte, I'm always on board when our city, the teams are winning. It's just a different feel. Everybody's in good moods, and you can feel when we're losing because there's a lot of complaining all around the city. But you want to have somebody to cheer for here, and I'm happy to see that. And I'm happy to see, Bryce Young having a decent year, even though he just had like a little injury. But yeah, that coach being young, it seems like he has a great pulse on the locker room. They respect him, and he's still relatable, which is pretty much like the major skill that you have to have as a head coach nowadays. You have to be, stern and have your authority like in place, player respect, et cetera, et cetera. But you also had to have relatability because you can't come down as hard as you used to on the players. Like
Yeah,
so, yeah, it's good to see that. And he's also one of those lead figures to where teams are starting to go towards those younger coaches too because once they get on television, he's almost like a piece of eye candy or something. So it's like.
who
You
were
got a
they
handsome
playing?
dude up there leading the team, and then David Tepper could just be in the background because sometimes he can get in the way at times.
I think they were playing the Cardinals. Andre, they showed the coaches, and for a split second, I was like, "This isn't real. This is like a couple of actors or AI or something just put on some Panthers and Cardinals gear and are
Yeah.
pretending to be coaches because they do not look like the football coaches I grew up on. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. They're younger, and that's on purpose. That's like I said, it fits the entertainment mode. So it's
I
you
like my
got a
coach
guy
to be
like that.
a little fat and a little ugly, personally, Andre.
I know, but another thing about that is too is some of those older coaches in the past, um, by them not being relatable and such in that authoritative figure, like
Right.
they couldn't relate to the players off the field, like as far as what to wear. Like you can even tell how the coaches dress on the sidelines, how important it is to connect
True.
with the culture as well. So yeah, he fits the mold.
No, that's a good point. I never really thought about that being like a positive. I just thought it was a thing. But yeah, you might be onto something there. Great doubleheader coming up tonight, Andre. And man, Bucks Lions feels like a playoff preview. And we'll see two great, QBs going at it, two great rosters. I just hope the Bucks are healthy enough where we can see Evans and Igbuka and all those guys take on St. Brown and Jameson Williams and the cast of characters for the Lions. These might be like the two best offensive rosters going at it tonight.
No, it is for sure, and it's going to be some big plays. And what's crazy about how Baker Mayfield is playing, it's almost like Mike Evans, he's not playing, they're still like getting it done, and like people are just peaking and playing at a high level because sometimes I think like in the pros players can be on teams too long and you can like depend on them too much, and the players who can contribute, they're not getting their fair shot. So when a player like that goes down, a guy is waiting in the wing to show what he can do. And all throughout the week or all throughout the season, he can play on that level. But you got a great like Mike Evans that's still there producing at a high level. So I'm excited to see who's gonna step up if those two players don't play. I'm sure it's gonna be somebody that's going to be making big plays because Baker Mayfield, he's playing at a high level right now.
And then after that, we've talked in the past about the reclamation projects, but Sam Darnold, amazing year in Minnesota. What's next for him? And he's come back and put it together in Seattle, and they are winning football games. They play the Texans tonight. That'll be a good one too, Andre.
Yep, that's a good point too. He played really well last year. I thought they were going to bring him back, but it just goes to show like a lot of the your performance is based on like what organization you're in and like who's the coach at the time. I was happy to see him, bounce back. I love seeing those players go to different teams and play at a high level. So yeah, that's going to be a good one as well. And then the Texans, they're always going to be in the hunt because they're led by a great coaching staff and a great organization as well.
Yeah, D'Amico was a great player, and now getting it done on the sidelines for Houston. Andre, we'll see if the Pirates can keep it rolling after their final bye week of the season. They got Temple coming up next, and then taking on Charlotte. That's going to be a big day with Dwayne Harris, Justin Hardy, Shane Carden going into the Hall of Fame. It'll be homecoming. So you think you'll be able to make it for an ECU game?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to make that one for
Yeah.
sure. I haven't been able to make it. The my schedule has been a little hectic here. I'm opening up a gym in February. Got the franchise going with the wellness side of things. But no, I'm excited for those guys to go into the Hall of Fame. And I'm also going to be, excited once we put this two loss skid in the back because the
No.
49ers has had our number for the last 2 years. And there's no reason for it at all. I always feel really bad when we lose to a team like that. But I don't know. They just feel like they get up when they have to play us. They play at a high level, like it's their championship game or something. So I'm ready to beat them.
Wore us out last year. You're right, man. We got to make up for that. And you mentioned it's good excluding the 49ers, but when the pro teams in Charlotte win, everybody it's good. It's a good feeling. Look, I'm tired of thinking about Kimball Walker and Al Jefferson. Like we need the Hornets to be good again. Like that. I love those guys, but damn, that's been like 10 years. We need a good team, a good basketball team in Charlotte. Can we get that this year?
I know we have the players though. The roster is pretty good. We got the athletes. I think that that's just another thing that they eventually gel together too. It's only a matter of time before we get the right coach to fit the mold with the players, and we can get some cohesion there. I could see how they've been drafting a lot better than they have in the past. We missed on a few picks,
Yeah.
but now those players that we have there, they have a big upside, and if we could just incorporate a little bit more defense, because I think Charlotte just try to outgun you a lot, and we don't play a lot of defense, so hopefully that will turn around. And yeah, like you said, we can get that win in basketball because when all those teams are winning, it's a different vibe in the city, and it's also good for just the average sports fan, which I am. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they turn the tables too.
Yeah, I'd be great to see, man. I'm a big Hornets fan, but there's been nothing to really get behind here as far as wins go since, like I said, Big Al and Kimba and that team. Andre, appreciate it, man. We will talk to you next Monday. Have a good rest of your week, man.
No, absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.